I, like many of us, have a lot of anxiety about this plebiscite. I think I, like everybody in the room, wants to vote in favor of transit. I think it's traditionally a favorite topic of the left. It's seen as useful for saving the planet, which is something that I'm certainly very interested in. I think everybody in the room is interested in that. And it's important as infrastructure for social justice, because it doesn't demand that everybody own a car and spend enormous amounts of money that they don't have if they're at their lower levels of income on transportation just to get around. See transportation as a right rather than an expense is something that's very part and parcel of being a member of the political left, which I consider myself to be. But this one's troubling because, for many reasons, and actually it's very interesting that Lawrence Boxall, was that you? Yes. Came around with this note that I think probably every one of you have. And it's, in some ways, Larry, this sums up my feeling too, because this particular transit referendum refers to a transit plan which seems to fortify a region that is becoming increasingly about the value of capital formation in the hands of whoever can accumulate the most amount of capital, and sees public investment as part and parcel of a strategy to make wealth generated and typically in private hands. So that the transit referendum seems to be a paragon of this kind of, the strategy itself that they put forward seems to be a paragon of this emerging trend, really, that's not just here in Vancouver, but is much wider throughout the world. So, for example, the Broadway subway seems to be a vehicle not to support transportation throughout the city, but rather to create an engine for economic development that will enhance certain kinds of investments and produce certain results that are measurable in ways that this particular kind of economic strategy, some people call it neoliberalism, and I agree with that term. 1 minute, good. Suggest. So, in my remaining minute, this is the real reason why I've had so much anxiety about the subway system, is because it induces that kind of demand and prevents a more even distribution of the benefits of public investment. So when I've talked about this idea of the streetcar city, which is what Vancouver always has been, and elevate that to a level of understanding that as an engine for social justice and equity, that's really what I'm talking about. For the same $7 billion, which by the way is only the first phase of the investment, it will take another $4 billion to get the subway out to UBC. It'll take another $2.5 billion to complete the light rail in Surrey. So this first phase of that investment would be enough to provide a distributed system of zero greenhouse gas surface transportation available to all at a lower price than this one piece, which was largely devoted to a couple of subway pieces, and the rest is all diesel buses. So that's my anxiety, and I'll leave it at that.